A young man must save his town and the woman he loves from his childhood bully with the help of his best friends, a magical foosball table.
The f*** is this?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Hey, welcome back, ladies, gentlemen, and however else you wish to self-identify, to another episode of TFIT, a show where we watch movies and also tell you how to build structures for the coming apocalypse out of everyday items that you might find laying around the house. You know, we haven't done that second one.
Yeah, we've really been slacking off.
We haven't been doing that second one yet, but we're getting to it.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get to it eventually. I'm Kaz Lescard, and joined to me,
Yeah, conjoined.
Yes, is Jameson Rafter.
Hello.
I'm stepping all over your introduction. Go ahead.
That's perfectly fine. As I said, I was coming in here today. I am not a morning person.
Yeah,
we are recording this at like 11:30 on a Saturday morning,
God.
which like to me is a morning because I like sleeping in.
It's a real crack of noon situation. But we persist. We persist because of you. We persist
because you demanded it, listener.
You demanded earlier podcast recording times.
Mm-hmm.
We read the comments. We don't have any comments yet.
We
have comments. One comment, and one comment said, I'd like to hear them earlier in the morning.
Mm-hmm. And it was from Kaz Lescard.
It was from, damn it, they saw right through my genius profile name.
Gotta get up pretty early in the morning, how smart us. And
that was what I said, you gotta get up pretty early in the morning, and since I'm on the subject, you guys should get up pretty early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't even early in the morning. Most of their day is done by now.
Noon has not come yet. It's 11:30. Hence, it's not afternoon.
It's still
pre-noon.
All right. Well, before we get into the episode, we have to unfortunately start this one on something of a bit of a down note. We have our first in memoriam on this show. It was bound to happen. Sooner or later, someone that we talk about at length on the show was eventually going to kick it. And today's episode is in memoriam of Billy Drago.
Cocaine Pants himself.
Cocaine Pants McGee, who died earlier this week at the age of 73.
Mm-hmm. I was going to mention that to you just over our chat, and I said, like, he's not really going to care. And
I catch everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm going to do an in memoriam for everyone who we briefly talk about on this show.
So he didn't die by, like, getting eaten by a shark or having a grenade stuffed down his mouth.
Or being thrown off of the roof by Kevin Costner.
I'm going to come see you, Burn, you son of a bitch, because you killed my friend. He died like a pig. What did you say?
I said that your friend died screaming like a stuck Irish pig. Now you think about that when I beat them. Hey! Ah! Ah! Anything like that?
That is a badass. That is a scene so badass. It transcends the fact that both of those guys are playing real people who actually existed, and that dude did not die like that.
No, I would imagine Kevin Costner would have got kicked off the force for something like that, even by like the non-corrupt officers.
Well, you know, they were trying to take down Capone. So yes, rest in peace, Billy Drago. Rest in peace, Cocaine Pants. This episode is dedicated to you.
I will remember you.
Yeah, I wanted to pipe in that music, but I don't know what the name of that song is. It's the one. It's like who can say do do do.
Oh yeah.
What is that? Is that Enya?
Sure.
I just assume it's Enya. All right. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So just imagine, like soft focus, like rest in peace, Billy Drago, and
with
then
like whatever kind of sad royalty-free music we can accompany with.
Enya. Yeah. There's like an Enya type thing.
Gone but not forgotten.
Gone. Yes.
Onto the Devil's Island in the sky.
where the assaults never stopped. Or the attacks. We're still not sure.
Or the Shadow Warriors.
We're still not 100% sure on that one. Mm-hmm. Let's get into our show. We have a really cool guest joining us on the show today. She is an actor and a voiceover artist, and she's currently on a very cool Netflix show called The Dragon Prince, please welcome Paula Burrows to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming. So, let's talk about you. Let's talk about the Dragon Prince. That is an awesome show. I've been watching it all week.
Have you?
Yeah, I have. I just started season 2 last night.
So, who's your favorite character?
Besides her.
The Toad, obviously.
Bane, oh my god.
Obviously, the multicolored. I loved him from the second the episode started and he did the Netflix logo.
Oh yeah,
it's like,
that's
boom,
great.
boom, yeah. No, it's as soon as I saw him all like that, Frog is gonna get merchandised the crap.
He's actually a glow toad, not a frog.
Right.
You call yourself a fan.
I'm a new fan, yeah.
A new fan.
I knew I should have written down all of the names of the characters.
You can buy him, actually, a plushie of him.
I'm not surprised. Does it glow?
It doesn't. I wish it did, but that's all I got my mom for Christmas this year.
Aww.
Yeah, just the swag that they give you as part of like the production parties and stuff.
Honestly.
Yeah, but it was great. I started listening to it, and then about the third episode in, I completely forgot that you voiced the character, and I just started really enjoying the show. It's a really great animated show. Again, like third episode in, I started feeling like, this is really sort of reminding me of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and then I found out one of the creators was the head writer of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Two of the creators and the executive producer, and then Jack DeSena, who plays Callum, also played Sokka in Avatar: The Last Airbender. So it's quite a team from Avatar.
That's some pedigree of like showrunners coming together for a new idea.
I know, and I was really lucky. That was my introduction to voiceover, and they're the best people to work with. They're so nice and lovely and creative and warm and welcoming. They're great.
What was the experience getting that role? Was it just a standard audition, or did you self-tape, or?
Pretty standard. Do you do animation stuff?
I've done like a couple of voiceover auditions before.
He's done a couple of like voices for some of my animated.
I did. Yes, yeah. I've done voiceover for him
for very independently run animations.
Well, that's probably more than I've done because the Dragon Prince is the only animation I've done. So I had done a bunch of commercial, and then sort of how it works. You just get emails like submit this MP3, and I got the MP3 for the Dragon Prince, which was called Project Kingdom at the time. And I ignored it because I was like, I'm going camping. I don't have time. I don't think I can fulfill this. And then it came around 2 weeks later again. And I've never had that happen before, getting the same audition after 2 weeks. So I was like, okay, well.
Were they really seeking you out? Like,
no.
They heard your demo and were like, we gotta, like, land this actress.
No, I didn't have an animation demo. I still don't have an animation demo, actually. I should do that.
Well, I mean, you have an animation demo in the sense that you now have 2 seasons of television.
Yeah, and there's a few characters on there that I got to do, so maybe I could string them together.
Oh, you did? So, in addition to Rayla, you've done a couple of other voices?
Yes, if you haven't made it to the second season, you won't have heard much of them.
Okay, but I'll be on the lookout then.
I also play a parrot called Berto. And that's a fun one. That's probably my favorite one. Rayla's my favorite, but Berto's very fun. And I play Opeli, the priestess, who you might have seen a wee bit of in the first season.
Okay.
But she's actually just in my natural voice, but she's much more serious than anyone else. And then, there's the hubbub in the background, the walla.
Right.
So I've got a few some soldiers here or there.
Right.
It's been so great, just honestly, watching the other voice actors in the room, oh my god, talk about improv. They're so funny. I was so nervous in that room every time we went in to record.
So it is like a live recording with like the majority of the cast,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
those are so cool to watch.
Well, nearly everyone's in Vancouver. Jack flies in to do them. He's the only one that lives in LA. And then there's some other actors that don't record with us, and they record remotely.
And like on any given day, you'll be like looking at the call sheet and be like, "Oh, I get to be a parrot today. That's awesome! Like I wouldn't have had this opportunity."
Oh my gosh, it's not even a call sheet. It's like the night before they email you the scripts, and you're sort of like, "Huh? Has anyone else gotten the scripts yet? It's 8 p.m. Like
writers are burning the midnight oil, just like
they're on the planes, like fixing them.
I got a deadline.
Totally. And then one day it was just like I read the script and it was just an email. Paula will be playing Berto, and I was like, "What's up?
Who's that? Who's that now?"
And I was thinking, like, like guard number 2, like they'll just cast in the room, like, Paula, do you want to be the guard or whatever, like. But Berto had lines and was a bird, and I just had no idea. So
and as an actress, like, how do I capture the essence of being a bird?
Yeah.
Well, there's no method for this.
I was flapping around the apartment. Yeah.
Showing up in a parrot costume.
Exactly. I really needed to method that one.
Oh, I can't wait to watch that episode
Oh
now.
my
Now
God.
that I know, I probably wouldn't have known that ahead of time if
You
you
would
hadn't
not
told
have
me.
known it was.
You really lost yourself in the role of the parrot.
Yeah. Really.
That's so cool. That's so much more looser than I thought it would be. I kind of
too.
figured that it would be like a little more like structured, and you might know like a little bit ahead of time. But that's almost cooler that you get to just like go in, like, because you don't think too hard about it ahead of time, and you're sort of forced to just go with whatever they throw at you.
Oh no, I was sweating.
Yeah,
Sweating
okay.
over it. I did not know. But then I just went in and did what I thought was fun, and they were laughing, and they said that was not what they expected from me, and I was like, I just had no idea.
I had
expecting.
I had like the bare minimum of a heads up. I just went in there with an open mind and knocks it out of the park first take.
I wouldn't say that.
It's a terrific performance you give on the show. You get to play so many different kinds of emotions and levels. It's a great journey that the character goes through. I love the episode where you pretend to be human.
Oh, human real is a big favorite of the troops, I think.
Yeah, and that leads me into the next question. So now you're starting to get a bit of an experience having a fan base.
Yeah. That's new.
Have you been to any like conventions or anything?
I have.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if what I can mention.
Oh, okay.
I've got one coming up next month. A good one.
Okay.
Then August, I'm allowed to say that I'm going to Honolulu in August for Comic-Con, and it's hard. I don't know, because we have someone that arranges these things for us as a cast.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure which ones I'm allowed to mention.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sacramento in January.
Okay.
Pretty sure that one's announced.
Cool.
If it isn't, I'll email you. Please cut this out.
All right. Please cut this out. We'll cut this out of the things. Yep. No. And let's talk about your other show. You have a web series called
The
Dangers of Online Dating. Yes.
Yeah, and it's got a little spin-off called Sex with Paula,
Mm-hmm.
which is a sexual education show. Yeah, so we started actually filming that in 2012, hot out of theater school.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I met a director through a director that we met in theater school we worked for, and did a music video for her, and we just clicked, and her name's Brianne Nord-Stewart. She's she lives in Vancouver. She's been here a long time. She's originally from Edmonton, and she wrote a show called The Dangers of Online Dating, and she wrote the show with me in mind, though her experiences.
Is that like flattering to hear, or just like she heard so many good stories that there's like a wealth of material for this?
Well,
series?
I mean, the dating stories are Brianne's stories. I, at this point, had been in a long-term relationship.
Mm.
That's the really interesting thing, is I never actually experienced online dating until we had already taped both seasons.
Mm.
So she wrote the character with me in mind, so she ended up being called Paula, which made it really confusing for the crew. They'd be like, Paula, sorry, I just can't remember your name. And I was like, that's it.
Show Paula.
I'm Paula. So in 2012, we did it totally guerrilla style, no one on set, and then 5 years later, TELUS gave us a grant, and we got to do it with the crew and do a second season in 2017. And then since then, we've sort of been focusing on Sex with Paula, which is like to promote sort of a diverse spectrum of sexual education.
Yeah. And it worked, because I absolutely learned things
Did
that
you?
I did not know.
Well, I've learned things, I've learned things myself. Including how to edit. I'm doing some of the editing on Sex with Paula. So
Cool.
It's really fun.
Oh, production side learning stuff, not...
No, sexual stuff too.
Okay, good.
Now I know where everything is.
Yeah, no, and it's always fun to watch. Like the web series based in Vancouver. You get to see all the places that you see every day.
Lots of actors that you know.
Lots of actors that I know. Yeah.
The city is not a stand-in for like Seattle or Portland or anywhere else.
Did an episode with Tony Giroux.
What a bang!
Yeah, you ended up covered in his pee.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah. I love it. All of the episodes have great punchlines. Like they always have great little buttons that have me laughing by the end of them.
Brianne is very funny. Everything she does is very sexually oriented. She has a great film called Beat Around the Bush about a woman who has Alzheimer's, who wants to give herself her first Orgasm. That's a great film.
Oh.
That sounds really sweet. I'll have to check that out.
Fabulous.
Oh.
And that has a spectacular cast.
Great. All right. Well, let's sidle on over into the movie that we're
Let's
going
do
to be
it.
watching
Let's
today.
watch it.
So, on this show, we watch baffling, strange, bizarre movies that no one's ever heard of, and we don't know how they ended up on that. What's the strangest movie you've ever watched, Paula?
Oh my god. Way to put me on the
To
spot.
put you on the spot.
Strangest movie. Oh no. I don't know. I'm really afraid of scary movies.
Okay.
So I'm hoping it's not scary. Strangest movie I've ever watched.
Just in terms of the plot made no sense, or there was an actor in it that you're like, why are they there? Why are they in
this actor
this?
would probably be embarrassed if, like, you know, people discovered this movie.
Like what? So what sort of movies do you
So
usually
I'm a
like to
pretty
watch?
discerning
Yeah.
watcher. I don't watch a lot of movies.
Okay.
I'm a little bit of a restless person, I would say.
Okay.
So if I'm going to watch something, it's because it's been really well recommended.
Okay.
But
Nothing but the best.
Nothing. I wouldn't say that.
Well,
like,
you're in the wrong place.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of BBC. Those are some strange made-for-TV movies that I love. Anything with petticoats, I'm in. And Alan Rickman.
Okay.
Just give me Alan Rickman and like a shirt, and I'm there.
The Alan Rickman petticoat experience
Yeah.
would be like
Sense and Sensibility is like the pinnacle of my.
The Alan Rickman petticoat experience is absolutely my next band name.
the next band name for our next podcast.
Yeah.
Please, I'm in.
So, like, the last girlfriend I was with was really into, like, Poirot. So I ended up watching like a ton of Poirot with her, and I really got
They're
into
all on
it.
Netflix. I've been meaning to check those out.
Oh, they're great.
I imagine they're just like very, very like free kind of watches. Just like, oh, isn't this lovely? This is a nice,
It's
like,
an
sort of
excellent.
carefree.
It's an excellent thing to have on in the background when you're doing things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's how I feel about House Hunters International.
That was the other show that she watched.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god! This is fair. This is like end the relationship.
It'll be okay, guys. We'll get through this.
Don't touch me. All right. Well, okay. So the movie we're watching today has absolutely nothing to do with BBC or anything like that. So
I'm leaving.
So there's a weird trend going on in movies right now. The last Friday saw the release of a chunk of movies that all had a similar theme. I have to imagine it was a bit of a marketing strategy, but there's a lot of movies that are in theaters right now that are about toys coming to life. We just got the fourth Toy Story.
Are we watching that?
We are not. I did not get a bootleg copy of the fourth Toy Story.
Please don't come after us, Disney.
I picked today's movie basically because I like, Toy Story 4's coming out. I can kind of make like a parallel coming here. But then, also weirdly enough, we also had the remake of Child's Play, and there's another Annabelle movie out currently right now. So there's a lot of... Yes, Paula, your hand's up.
I just thought of the weirdest movie I've ever
Oh,
seen.
great!
Excellent.
I really hope that we're not watching it.
Okay, well, it would be amazing live on the show if it turns out it is, but tell me.
Toys, Robin Williams.
We are not watching Toys with Robin Williams.
That is a weird movie!
But it's like kind of delightfully weird in a way.
That is a bizarre train wreck of a movie that lost a ton of money. Yeah. Did you ever see the trailer for it?
I don't know.
It's a weird movie. It's an even weirder trailer because remember how crazy that movie is. The trailer for Toys is literally just Robin Williams in a field talking directly to the camera. There's no footage of the movie. It's just him going,
I don't know about you, but that last trailer. I've seen it, you know, fast-cutting, big music. What about a different kind of trailer? I'm Robin Williams, here on the world's largest soundstage at 20th Century Fox. That's right. This entire wheat field is in one building. I'm here tonight to talk to you about an incredible movie. Toys! There'll be a big lettered thing up here above me, glowing. Obviously some incredible special effect that'll go dun 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 dun. Toys! Toys. Not the toy maker. I'll be back. Wind me. Well, it's like Toys in the Hood. Toys. It's a Barry Levinson movie. Man who made Rain Man. Yeah. Raymond, you like toys? Yeah.
that's all you needed to sell the movie on was just...
Apparently not,
Yeah.
because did it bomb?
Oh, it bombed hard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I thought everyone just would go to anything Robin Williams made. I'm sure that's why I saw it.
Yeah, they probably did, yeah, because that movie came out, I think, right after Aladdin, so Robin Williams was never bigger than when Toys came out. Yeah. And it didn't kill his career. He continued to flourish after Toys, so yeah. No, but we're not watching Toys, but we are watching a movie where toys come to life, but instead of just this, like, unspecified sort of, they're always sentient or whatnot, this time it's specifically magic, and instead of all toys everywhere, it's a foosball table. Yes! Today, we're watching Underdogs!
Oh,
Okay.
When the toys come to life, the fun begins.
I see. So it's a sports movie about, like, the trials and tribulations of being a foosball character?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes. What are your initial thoughts looking at the cover of this?
I don't think I'm gonna get scared, which is good.
They are
no
kind of
Chucky sort of situation.
They are
happening.
kind of terrifying looking, though.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm nervous,
Okay.
but I think I'll be able to sleep without putting on my light tonight. So that's good. That's
All
a win.
right,
That's
good.
a win.
All right.
I can't believe I got up early to come here and watch that.
Early.
You should
Noon.
know.
It's early to
He's
We
been
went over this.
complaining all of the past half hours. All like, oh god, it's so early. That was our whole intro.
Saturdays don't start for me until 11 a.m.
Gosh, oh
What
my
time
God.
did you guys get started at?
11 a.m.
Oh yeah, barely before you got here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm just being a crybaby.
All right, so I'm going to go into the background of this movie. This is an Argentinian animated movie.
Mhm.
In Argentina, it is known as Metagol, which literally translates to table football.
Okay.
So if you
Simple.
think Underdogs is a generic title, it could have been a lot worse. This movie is written and directed by a guy named Juan Jose Campanella, and as has happened on this show before, this is a movie that is actually made by an Academy Award-winning filmmaker.
Oh.
Right before he made this movie, he made a movie called The Secret in Their Eyes, which in 2009 won the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film, and it was remade in 2015 with Nicole Kidman and Julia Roberts.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
So what the hell's he doing making this?
This is apparently like a big passion project. Yeah, he really wanted to...
Something for his kids kind of thing?
Something for his kids.
Yeah.
I think it's probably important to note that this is a huge movie in Argentina.
Oh.
Because football is massive
Mhm.
down there. This movie set an all-time record for an Argentine film opening at the box office. It cost $21 million, and it's the most expensive Argentine film of all time. It's the most expensive Latin American film ever. Hey folks, Editor Kaz with a brief correction here. What I should have said, it was the most popular and profitable Argentinian and Latin American animated film of all time. Not overall film of all time, but the animated film of all time. My bad. Back to the show. But when traveling over to North America, the movie befell the worst possible fate it could have, because it was bought and distributed by the Weinstein Company. And I was going to include the sort of like ominous like burp, 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 or something like that, but you know what? The Weinsteins aren't worth that, so here's a sound of a goat screaming like a human. There you go. That's what you get, Harvey.
Mhm.
That's all you get. So yeah, this was bought by the Weinsteins. It went through numerous delays. It had a theatrical release that was scrapped at the last moment, and it was finally just shuffled onto DVD, finally, nearly a year later on July 2016. Never even made it to theaters.
Oh.
Biggest Argentinian animated movie of all time,
And
just...
North America just did not.
Yeah. So, like they always do with these redubbed movies, this movie has an all-star cast of people who probably should be doing better things than this. It's a super weird cast. I'm gonna run through it really quickly. I'll try to... Some of these people I don't even know. I had to look up who some of these people are. I've never even heard of them. So, just for everyone listening here, I'll go through like this super fast. This cast includes Ariana Grande,
Mm.
Nicholas Hoult,
Oh.
who's a beast in the new X-Men movies.
He's cute.
Matthew Morrison from Glee,
Okay.
which is not a show that I ever watched.
Mhm.
This guy, his name is Eugenio Derbez. He's apparently very famous in Mexico. He's in like a couple of movies. He remade Overboard with Anna Faris last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know who he
Good
is.
amount
But
of hair.
Mhm.
good amount of hair. He's in it.
I like his suit jacket in that picture.
Yeah, very flashy. I like it.
Couple of Saturday Night Live cast members, Taron Killam and Bobby Moynihan.
Okay, I know those guys.
Yep.
Not personally, but...
This woman is named Bella Thorne. She's in Twilight. She's popular, I think. I've never heard of her. John Leguizamo!
Oh, shit, Luigi himself.
Yep. Who the hell's... Oh, that's,
A Jonas Brothers?
No, what's his name? Shawn Mendes?
Okay.
Yeah, I have it written down. Shawn Mendes, yeah, that dude. Katie Holmes for like 3 lines.
Oh,
She
okay.
looks hot in that picture.
Damn.
Good photo. All right, we will include this candid photo of Katie Holmes. But the weirdest casting in this movie, not necessarily because he's in it, but because of the way... This is what made me stop and go, I need to watch this because I need to answer this mystery. The final cast member who's in this is comedy legend Mel Brooks.
Oh, no.
But
no.
if you take a look at this DVD case that I have right here, and you look at everyone's name up top, it says, "And introducing Mel Brooks."
That's the kind of joke he would have come up with.
Wow.
So apparently this is Mel Brooks' first movie.
I'm so excited.
And I don't know why they said...
Historical footage.
Yeah, predates silent movie, Young Frankenstein, Spaceballs, all the classics.
I don't know why they say, "And introducing Mel Brooks," and then I dug deeper and I went on both Wikipedia and IMDb. Mel Brooks isn't credited on either of those sites for this movie. So, okay.
His people are at work there.
His people are, yeah.
Yeah.
So he is in it. I have a theory why he got the "and introducing" thing. It's a dumb theory, but I'll tell you after we watch the film. All right, I think that's good. I think that's about as long as this intro will go on. Let's watch Underdogs, and we'll take a break, and we'll see you after we do that thing that we do
Good
on the
segue,
show
guys.
that we've done over and over again.
I gotta go.
And we're back.
Hello again, everyone.
We're back, and yeah, so nothing really snarky or sarcastic to say coming back from the break. That was a pretty delightful little movie.
Yeah, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Adorable. Love it. Can't wait to make everyone I know watch it.
Really?
Wow, we jumped to the end already. So yeah.
It's definitely a movie for families. So there's good wholesome message. There's like a lot of kooky characters that people can sort of fall in love with. I think most of the stuff that just didn't really translate well with that, it was a very fast-paced movie, and there's probably like a couple of things that were lost in translation.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think like people that were in charge of the dubbing or whatever, they had a ball with just like sort of the no supervision that they had with bringing this over to North America.
Yeah, I think probably one of the shining elements of this particular version of this movie was the background actors and the wall of it. That was some of the funniest lines were from, I'm sure, people that they brought into the studio for one day, and they just said, make a wry observation about what's going on here.
We need something recorded here. Like there was one part where there's a press conference and like one guy calls another guy a coward, and the reporter's going,
You always were a coward.
Is that true?
Are you a coward?
Those stairs are sweet.
Whoa, those steps are sweet.
Yeah. I like the bad guy's agent shows up, and you can hear someone in the background go,
Is that One Direction?
No, it's Danny DeVito. No, that's a Hobbit.
that was
like
really
that. Those
good.
are lines that are probably not in the original script, but I'm kind of glad that they're there now.
What was the one with the reporter that like a sassy girl has?
Yeah.
Winner gets the town.
Sassy girl just challenged you, eh?
Will you accept that challenging?
Yeah. All the Wallace stuff was hilarious. Yeah, to go on your point, back before he was known for the horrible things that he's now known for, Harvey Weinstein was very well known for editing the crap out of the movies, the foreign films that he acquired.
Mm-hmm.
Just taking the director's original idea and vision and just hacking it to pieces. He was very well known for that, and you can tell that his fingers are all over this because scenes just end abruptly.
The girl on the table? I'm like, what?
Yeah, the girl's on the table at one point when they're in the villain's lair,
And we didn't see her get put onto the table, it just kind of cuts to her getting off the table.
But we know she was trying to convince him of something.
Yeah. But yeah, like even in the build-up to that scene, like our hero's trying to break down a glass door, and it gets shattered, and then a split second later, he's already like jumping off a railing in the lair. It's just like, whoa, we jumped ahead. So there was at least like a good minute-long scene where all of that could have been answered, but it wasn't shown.
So do we take a break now again and watch the Argentinian version? Or, what are you guys doing today?
There's also a UK dub of this movie. So there's 3 different versions of this same movie.
Interesting.
I want to see that.
In the UK, it is known as The Unbeatables, and it has an entirely different cast. British actors. The main hero, Jake, in that version is voiced by Rupert Grint.
Oh, of Harry Potter.
Yeah. And the bad guy in that version is voiced by Anthony Head from Buffy.
Okay, and what are the accents of the red team in the UK version?
That's an excellent question, because all villains are British in this world.
Mm-hmm.
So...
That answers a lot of questions of why the lip syncing was so odd in this movie.
Because it's three times diluted.
Yeah, they have to do the different regional like dialects for every version of the movie.
Yes,
I love accent tropes in animated stuff. We have that in The Dragon Prince, and I love it. All the magical people are from the United Kingdom. Well, they sound like they are. They're from Xavier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's the Star Wars English kind of way
of
speaking.
I love it.
So let's break down the plot of this movie, of this delightful animated feature. What's weird is that there's multiple wraparound stories, because we open on, and here's my theory as to why this movie is and introducing Mel Brooks. So we open with a short little animation of a couple of prehistoric monkeys.
2001: A Space Odyssey style.
Yeah, basically inventing the game of soccer. They call
With
it.
a skull.
This is one of those things. I'm just going to flat out make this statement. I'm one of those people that really just thinks we should just call the damn thing football.
The rest of the world does.
You kick the ball with your foot. You know, and what we call football is very, very little foot-kicking ball.
It's hand egg, or gridiron, as some people call it.
Yeah, pigskin.
Yeah.
Why did they do that? I don't know. I wonder where soccer that word came from.
I have no idea. I feel like I researched that at one point, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't remember what started off as soccer.
If I actually cared about the sport, I would actually have the answer to that. But I'm more of a hockey guy myself. Right. Soccer is just not really my bag.
So
in Scotland, when I'm there, my uncles, they give me dirty looks if I say soccer. So I have to remember to translate it to football.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Not American football, because then they don't trust me. She's talking about football, she's talking about soccer, what's she talking about?
Yeah, well, it's interesting that there's 3 different dubs, because obviously in the Argentine version they would call it football, and then UK it's football, and then we get over here and it's diluted down to soccer.
Yeah. And even some of the background jokes where you can't see an actor or a character moving their lips. There'll be some crack about football or baseball. Wrong sport.
Yeah,
they'll say.
Yeah, but this is my theory. So there's this very brief animated thing with a bunch of prehistoric monkeys inventing the sport of football. The voiceover is Mel Brooks.
At the dawn of time, a profound discovery was made about our planet. It was boring, but boredom makes you think. And thinking gives you ideas. And what was the first idea? I'll tell you what the first idea was. Must kick ball. And so soccer was born.
Who also voices a different character in the rest of the movie. But my theory is that it's and introducing Mel Brooks because he does the introduction of the movie.
Oh boy.
That's the only reason I can think of as to why they
introductions by Mel Brooks.
That's when it started off, I'm all like, oh, and introductions by Mel Brooks, but then he showed up later. I don't know. But, and then it goes to our second wraparound story, where we see a dad reading a bedtime story to his son, because the kid lost a soccer game, and now he thinks he's gonna
disappoint his dad.
And as we know in this world, football is the most important thing in the world. Everyone eats, sleeps, and breathes it, apparently. It fuels the economy.
So the dad, sits him down and says, well, let me tell you a story. It's a magical story, and it's conveniently about his younger days growing up in this small, sleepy town that looks like it may have a population of 50 people.
Yeah.
But by the end of the movie, it's 48,000 people who live there.
Where he chose not to play soccer, but it becomes a huge part. Soccer is a huge part of his life anyways.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird sort of details to break down. So Jake is our main hero, who's voiced by Mr. Glee, and he works in this diner full of colorful characters who will all become very important as as the movie goes on.
And their designs are just all over the fucking map.
Mm-hmm. And Jake's seemingly only thing is his beloved foosball table, which I guess the owner of the bar owns, but
Jake made it.
Yeah, Jake.
To the point where, like, he names all the little dummies on it and gives them personalities.
And little accoutrement, like he gives them different hairstyles.
So maybe he's a doll maker on the side. He seemed to have a lot of doll making things.
Seemed to have not a whole lot of friends.
He had Laura.
He had Laura, who he meets in this opening.
Ariana Grande.
Ariana Grande. Well, see, and this is what's so weird about it. So when we meet her, she's a little girl, and she's voiced by Bella Thorne, who you thought was the main character of 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, but, like, not the actress, just the character.
Just the character name. And then later on, when she's adult, she's voiced by Ariana Grande. And then super randomly, in that wraparound scene for 3 lines, she's voiced by Katie Holmes.
As the mother, yeah.
So, yeah, why did they make 3 different actors play that one character?
I have never seen a movie where, like, one character is sort of replaced 3 times in the movie.
And they didn't even put Katie Holmes' name on the marketing, so I'm not really... Maybe she was just in the studio that day, and just like, we can...
She's just hanging out in the voice room?
Yeah.
Was she dating one of the other co-stars or something? Like, I know things aren't going so well with her and
fairly certain at the time this movie was made, she was still deep in Cruise Town.
I see, on cruise control.
So, yeah, it's a little meet cute, and little Jake shows little Laura his table and all of his, he calls them his best friends.
His best friends.
The players on a foosball table that
Poor kid.
It's really kind of sad, isn't it? But, like, in a sweet sort of way.
Yeah. And then we are introduced to young Ace, who is the town bully, but also like a young soccer prodigy, to the point where, like, he's like kicking the ball at old people, and he's just like an absolute menace. And being the bully that he is, he challenges Jake to a foosball game, which he loses. And takes it very, very badly.
And thanks to the confidence that Laura gives him.
Gives to Jake, yeah.
He was scared at first. He didn't play.
And this is what was the first mind-blowingly sort of amazing thing about this movie, is that Ace loses this one foosball game as a child and swears revenge on not just Jake, but the entire town.
Well, the town did not like him.
No, he's a jackass.
He was not nice.
But he grows up to become, like, the richest athlete in the world by, like a country mile. He is, like, the most powerful being on Earth.
Yeah, he's what you said, Paul. He's essentially a supervillain.
He's his lair? Ugh.
Yeah, he had they don't make lairs like this anymore.
I would live there.
Yeah.
when
massive mansion with, like, statues of it, like, recreated of him.
When the structure of your mansion is literally like a monolith of yourself holding like a glass soccer ball. Yeah, this is a good time to bring this up. This is a gorgeous movie.
Oh my god,
yes.
It's beautiful. It's so pretty.
What did you say the budget for this was?
$21 million.
Oh.
They
most expensive Argentinian animated film of all time.
And they spared no expense. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, there's so much detail. Like we see, like there's the little foosball players running around, and there's scuffs on their face.
They're scratched up.
I think there's like new scuffs that like happen over the course of the movie, because one of them holds on to that van and kind of gets like scraped along, and then when we see him later, I think he has like new wear and tear on him. Like that just an immense amount of detail.
There's like one scene where it's like a super close up of like a screw, and there are dents in it and dings and everything, and like little scuff marks on it. And it's like, who takes like that takes a lot of time for just like a small little detail like that in animation, and it looks fantastic. I didn't know if it was like I asked if this was like made from like some ex-Pixar people, and no, like it was just like all Argentinian cast.
No, it's a full Argentinian crew.
Good for those guys.
Yeah, no, I'd love to delve more and see what else they've. I didn't know that there was an Argentinian animation industry. You know, let alone like this one movie. So I'd love to see what more comes out of it. But yeah, no, there's tremendous detail on clothing and on weather effects, and it's a weird sort of balance because it's a gorgeous looking movie, and then also at other times
the character designs are so ugly.
The character designs are completely grotesque.
They're very lanky.
Yeah, very Tim Burton-esque. So Ace comes back to town as like, you know, this wealthy guy who says, well, I just bought the town, and I'm going to level it so I can build, like, this like, the biggest stadium in the world, all in my honor. And I paid off the mayor. He's cool with it.
That's another great moment, too.
Yeah.
What about the mayor?
What do you mean, yours? Let's see what the mayor has to say about this.
Of course, ask him.
Huh? See you in Rio, Ace!
People love getting helicopters. You should have seen the smile on his face. Now, where was I?
Great gags in this movie. Really, really funny
it's pretty
stuff.
funny, yeah.
Jake's team isn't whole without Laura. Dude, my heart feels like lead. I would cry, but I don't know how.
Rico has a hole right in the middle of his chest. Because I cannot think of clever pun, but also feel sad.
Yeah, and so he decides, well, the first thing that's going to go is that cafe where I suffered the one and only defeat I've ever had in my entire life. And, Jake has to go in there and save his foosball table and also rescue the people that were still in the cafe as it's being demolished.
Yeah, secondary to the foosball table.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
the more...
I don't know. I think that the foosball table seemed to be more of a priority for him. The cafe owner was saving the people. Remember, he threw emo girl out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was that a girl?
I thought it was.
I think
They just called him Emo Kid.
Emo Kid.
Mhm.
That's true. He could be,
They.
Absolutely, yeah, you're right, yeah, they could absolutely be in between, however they want to self-identify. Hey, that's the first time we've been able to work our catchphrase into the thing. There we go.
Good job, Kaz.
There we go,
Pat
yeah,
yourself in the
that was
back
good,
for
yeah.
that. Yeah. Very progressive of us. Way to be an ally.
Yeah, so here's the weird thing, is that they don't really show us enough of the backstory of the characters. So all we get is this one moment that shows why Ace was so upset with everything. And then when he comes back, he sees Laura in the crowd and he sees Jake in the crowd. And he's all like, "Oh, I didn't forget about you. And I certainly didn't forget about you." And it's like, did you have more of a history with these characters? Like, I get that you have a rivalry with Jake because he's the one that beat you in the game. It didn't really seem like you talked to Laura all that much at all.
She just didn't like him because he was a bully.
Yeah, but now he has sort of like a weird obsession with her.
Well, what age are we thinking they are? Because, like, Laura just got into art school, right? So
Yes.
are they 17 or are they 25? Like, did she take a few years sabbatical before art school? Like, what's happening?
Ace looks noticeably older than both of them.
Does, but he
Like,
did it in
puberty
the
hit him like a
cafe.
ton of bricks.
He did it in the cafe, so maybe he's just been at, like, soccer. Maybe he's been playing for the Whitecaps for a couple years,
Yeah.
like, in high school.
You're probably doing a lot better than,
probably
better than the Whitecaps. But, like, he's been, like, conditioned as, like, the superstar athlete for, like, years. And now
Dwayne Johnson started off in the CFL, so there you go.
Sure enough.
Yeah, he went to. Yeah, that's the narrative we're creating for this movie. Ace went straight to Vancouver.
to play for the Whitecaps.
the Whitecaps.
Well,
Now he's,
because
the richest athlete in the world. And
While paying rent in Vancouver.
Well, because his agent was in the cafe as well too.
Yeah,
being all like sneaky and really, I kept waiting for like the agent to turn into like the actual villain. Because
I know!
Because you kept saying throughout it that you felt really sorry for
I did feel sorry
Ace.
for Ace. He just needed a little love. Like, he needed a friend. Maybe Laura should have been friends with both of them. I mean, I don't want to put the blame on her. She's great.
Yeah.
Flawless character.
She has the worst lip syncing in the entire movie, but yeah, she's a sweet character.
And her eyes roll a lot.
Yeah.
Or when she drops out of the side of her mouth, but like it's like the wrong side.
I don't think I took a look at the special features. I don't think the Argentinian version of this movie is on here, but I'm really curious to see it because I can see a version of this movie, like a longer version of this movie, where Ace learns a lesson at the end of the movie and kind of learns a bit of humility, and then Mel Brooks' agent is sort of the overall villain. That's why he looks so evil and gross,
demonic,
and Danny DeVito-ish.
He did seem like the baddie.
Yeah.
It seemed like they gave him a lot of leeway to improvise some of his lines.
I don't
too,
think
because
Mel Brooks had a single line written down for him. I think he just
he just shows up to the recording studio because he's comedy legend Mel Brooks, and we're just going to trust him because he's old.
These are my two conditions. One, I'm not going to read anything you wrote. It's going to come off the top of my head. Two, this is introducing me. This is the first movie I've ever done. I've never done anything before that.
You're going to introduce me in this picture.
Yeah.
And then he just does like the what's that, like 1,000-year-old man routine.
How
the
appropriate.
nice thing is about dubbing is they get to see it, right? Because when you're recording something before it, when you do prelay, you can't have lines like "those stairs are sweet" because you have no idea what it looks like.
Yeah.
So that's really a benefit to dubbing. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, there are so many characters where, like, you know, character is speaking, but they're in a crowd. So, like, yeah, they just had, like, a bunch of these comedians to, like, come in and say, like, just, like, take a look at what's going on. What do you think? Like, what would you say if you saw something like this? And we're going to be cool with whatever you put down.
They didn't. No,
not so much.
I doubt it.
Okay, all right. You're the professional. Like,
well, I mean, I'm not, like...
And
compared to the two of us.
I'm new, but, I can't imagine, like, do you want? Like, I don't know. I bet there was a script.
So, like, back to the plot. So, Jake, he rescues one of his little dummies, and then he cries on it, and through some magical kids' movie properties, that brings the toy to life.
I mean, even the movie itself is pretty incredulous about the fact. Like, yeah, he cries on the player, and then Skip, the team captain, comes to life, and he's immediately...
Whoa, no need to faint. I'm just a simple inanimate object that's come to life. Skipper? Can't be. Yeah, it can be, because it's true. You believe it? You got magic tears, I guess, and you got me right in the face.
Kind of seems like a bit of a convention. Oh well, come on, let's go save the town.
The best part is that none of the other toys need the tears to come to life. They're just alive.
Yeah.
Like, which they were waiting for Skip.
Yeah, that brings me to, I think, the biggest question I had about this movie is what length are these foosball players now alive, and how do they interact with people who aren't Jake? Because Jake is the only human character we see talking to the now alive foosball players.
Fully fleshed out players.
Because he's given them all backstories, he's given them all names and relations to one another. But we see them in a variety of events happen to them. They're different locations. They're at a carnival. They're on the field.
They're on the dump.
They're manipulating stuff. They manipulate the ball at the end of
Laura
the game.
Never converses with them.
No, Laura never converses with them once. I thought that was really interesting.
Even though she tries to save them, she knows they're special, but they never talk or move in front of her in that scene.
Yeah,
and they're about to die, and so they're flying through the air, I guess.
And then there's moments like at the carnival, which we gotta talk about, but like, the guy gets the foosball table and is all like, I'm gonna repurpose all of these foosball players for like a variety of things. This one will be like a shooting game, and I'll put them in...
How twisted is the carnival guy with him at the top of the roller coaster?
How did he get there so quickly?
So one player is screaming like, ah!
He's a load-bearing screw at the top of the of one of the rides.
And is he screaming as he's being screwed in, or does this carnival man not know he's sentient?
Who builds a fucking carnival attraction like that with a load-bearing piece being like a small hunk of plastic
in 10 minutes?
Because
you're running to the carnival. He's there.
It might have been like a long stretch of road. I'm willing to suspend my disbelief that all of this happened within an hour, but still, that's a very full hour of...
The truck wasn't going that fast because a rat was running at speed.
It's either a fast rat or a slow truck.
So let's back up a bit. So we go on a lot of tangents here on this show. Yeah, the foosball table is taken away. It's sent to the dump. Jake has his one buddy Skip, and they go to the dump and they go to look for the rest of the players. And we find the three other sort of central foosball players we get to know. We get Ziggy, who's voiced by John Leguizamo, and he's sort of like a
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, he said Matthew McConaughey. He's got dreads, which isn't his fault. Technically, Jake put those on him, but it really did inform his personality. Yeah, he's sort of like a mellow, like one with the universe type of thing.
He's from California, for sure.
Yeah. We have Rico.
Love Rico.
Yeah, Rico, who talks in the third person.
A lot.
And has a beautiful blonde afro.
90s JT, Justin Timberlake.
Yes,
that's what it
absolutely.
is. Yeah. Lovely hair.
And his joke is that he's vain and he loves himself, and horrible things keep happening to his hair, and he has to keep reinventing himself.
Yeah. He's basically Nice Ace.
Yeah.
That's an interesting parallel. I hadn't thought about that.
He's a showboat, but he's on the good team.
And then we get Rip, who is the leader of the other team. And this is
the foosball team.
Yeah, and this is interesting when you delve into this world. So Jake has created all of these personalities for all of like but he has his team. He has the green team, and it's like, this is my team. And the other guys, they're the red team. They don't get so much personality. But now the entire table has become sentient, and this sort of like...
They got to band together.
Yeah, red-shirted bad team are kind of coming to terms with the fact of like, who are we? What do we like?
What makes us the bad guys?
Well, they're English.
Yes, they are.
They all
English.
have British accents.
They're definitely
and
like
tough guy haircuts.
Manchester seeming.
I gotta say, like, the dummies were way too involved in the plot, and I get that it is like a kids movie, but it's an entire team of players, and they all have such broad character development to them, and there's just a lot to kind of keep track of on top of like this like kid story of where there's like the mean guy who takes over the town, and there's going to be like a revenge plot there, and then there's Jake who has to learn like how to step up and like, you know, be more assertive, and then there's like a team of like 20 other guys who are also like running around and doing their own little comedy shtick. And I get that it's a kids movie and the kids are going to want to see that, but it's just too many to like field an entire team of that.
Well, there's a moment in the film when they get to the carnival and they rescue the entire rest of the team, and the team's all together, and they're all like, yeah, we're all together again, and there's like a moment where you're sitting there and you're going like, wait, what was the plan again? What was the point? I'm kind of lost now as to why we have to do this.
Because he had achieved his goal. He got his team back.
Yeah.
I feel maybe we didn't build the love for the town in order to need to save it.
Right. I mean, the biggest question really is that, I mean, like you were saying, like, Jake is an extremely mopey character. He spends the majority of the, what am I gonna do? Yeah, and he's gonna lose the entire town. He's already lost his job because the cafe has been bulldozed. And I think he's under the assumption that Laura went into Ace's helicopter freely?
Yeah.
Or something, but that's a little unclear too, so he's worried that he's lost his girl.
Well, before Ace even shows up, Laura says like, hey, I'm gonna go to art school, so I'm gonna leave town anyway. So he's already, no matter, even if Ace didn't show up, he was gonna be losing Laura anyway, so now it's just sort of compounding on that.
Also, the township seems pretty into Ace's plan. They're like, sweet, shops, because all we had is this cafe.
Yeah.
And so basically, he's ruining the town. They were bringing in an industry.
Yeah, it was a small, sleepy town that was founded by a guy who rode in on a pig, and there's just like a bunch of old people. But
we gotta put a pin in that, because let's put a pin in what I was about to say, because we gotta talk really briefly about this. So yeah, the center of town square, there's a big statue that says, the town founder, and it's like a short guy riding on the back of a pig, and he's holding a sword, he's going, yeah, and it's all like, tell us more.
No explanation.
Tell us more about your town founder, please. That's a backstory that is begging to be told.
I like to imagine that like no one's really proud of living there. Like it's kind of like it's a sore subject that our town was kind of founded by a crazy guy.
But
no town pride.
But going back to what I was going to say earlier, Jake spends like an inordinate amount of time just like moping and feeling sorry for himself. You now have a sentient foosball team, dude. Don't. Just go online, or like
start a YouTube channel.
Yeah, rent out a hall or something, or whatever. Yeah,
even the toys are talking about tweeting stuff out. Like, get these guys a phone.
They love being alive, and they still love playing the game of soccer. And
even though they need to sort of be reminded about how to do it without poles. Through their bodies.
First scene where they're going to play a game, and they're all kind of standing in a line all together, just kind of waiting for something to happen. That was kind of cute. I like that.
I liked when they all laid down and did the dance. With their feet.
There's lots of weird implications about what it would mean if specifically a foosball figurine suddenly came to life and started walking around. Like what was their life before this? Did they carry on conversations with each other, or is this like the new moment of birth for them? Early on, he says, "Hey, why don't you go cry on a Malibu Barbie?" It's like, oh, okay, so they're aware of what Barbies are. They're aware of pop culture references. All right.
I like how that was his that was his first thought as soon as he came alive. It was like, can you make a woman for me, please?
But he also, too, I like how many racy jokes there are in this. There are quite a few things for the adults in this show.
Probably thanks to the
Weinstein Company.
The Weinstein Company. Yeah, we're gonna get. Yeah, you can see Harvey Weinstein. We gotta cut this movie in half, and we gotta throw in a lot more innuendo up the wazoo
for the kids.
Yeah, for the children. Yeah.
So they infiltrate Ace's mansion compound, where Ace is giving a tour to Laura of like all the the art statues that were recreated in his image, and some of them are kind of sacrilegious.
The thinker.
Yeah, the thinker.
Smell my hand.
Yeah.
But then he leads her to
a very weird subplot.
a laboratory where not only is he like insanely petty, he's also legitimately insane. Like he is trying to crossbreed animals with sports equipment.
This is what's revealed. Like this is part of Ace's big plan to not only like destroy this entire town and this economy because of like one game that he lost when he was a kid. He also wants to take the foosball players on the table that he lost, and he's going to, through genetic experiments, combine them with his shoes, and then he'll be unstoppable. First of all,
you've never lost anything else in your life.
He already seems like the greatest athlete in the world. Mm-hmm. How much better could he be? Secondly, that is
that's insane.
That's not how that works. Mm. That's not how any of that works.
But also, this whole plot line not necessary to the story.
No,
at all.
It's completely forgotten. It's completely forgotten about in the space of like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's like it is the 5-minute scene, and then it's over.
It's an excuse to have a scene, like an action scene, and to have some crazy character or some crazy animal hybrid designs. But that's it. It serves no function for the plot.
And to see that screw, that beautiful screw that we paused on.
That someone spent like months detailing.
And probably didn't get paid enough for. Well, you know, who knows? Maybe Argentina treats their animators better than North America does.
I hope so.
I mean, the whole thing was just an excuse to get the foosball players on like a conveyor belt of doom. I love how his genetic experimenter DNA machine is literally just like a crushing machine. It's all like, I'm going to put shoes in here. And so, just smash them. Yeah, I'd love it if they just come out of the other end. I'm all like, don't know how I thought that would work. Like, if in my mind, if you're going to combine a shoe with a toy, maybe put that in like, I don't know, like the Fly. You know, like a containment unit. I'll put it like in like a microwave or something, and then it'll like splice together. You don't...
Not a grinder.
Yeah, you don't grind it up.
I'm also concerned that the scientists set this all up for Ace and then just left him to it.
Yes, because...
I mean, he doesn't seem like the sharpest tool in the shed.
That's a good... I'd never noticed it before, but there are no other scientists actually working there.
There's no one in his mansion at all. It's just him, I guess they...
And statues of him.
And periodically Mel Brooks shows up.
Yeah.
You know what was a gag they missed that I would have liked? Like a portrait of himself, like an acrylic painting old style. That would have been nice above the fireplace, maybe.
He was just really into marble.
It was a good fireplace. Lots of marble had marble too.
I like how there's like multiple statues of the villain everywhere, including like a massive one like outside. And your takeaway is all like, you know what was missing? A picture of him.
Not enough visuals of his face everywhere.
Well, I'm just saying.
It needed one more.
It needed one more above the mantle, maybe with Laura painted in it. That would have been great.
That would have been
to show how creepy it is.
How
that
much
he is. Yeah.
Which also that storyline wasn't fully thought out. Like he liked her, but like a bit.
Yeah, it was something for him to monologue to, but like she wasn't really into him. He wasn't that into her.
No, I think it was tied to, this is all about him coming back and humiliating Jake, and I think he probably knew that Jake had a thing for her, based on their 10 minutes of interaction, like a good, 10 or so years ago.
The day she met Jake. 5 minutes after she met Jake. Right?
Yeah, right. It doesn't make a whole lot of...
Childhoods are traumatic.
Yeah. Though it did seem that Ace was, like, a very eligible bachelor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. I mean, like, I guess, because they didn't feel like they didn't want to animate it all. Also, how far away was his mansion from the town?
I think it was in the town, because he still lived there, right?
Right, but he seemed like he was coming back from somewhere. Like, I'm back to my old sleepy town that I've been away for so long, and I guess they just didn't notice the building of a massive mansion just over the hills.
Yeah. Well, things happen really quickly in this movie, so maybe it was just constructed in like a day.
Right. We're not, I mean, something we do on this show is pay way too much attention to the details of movies that you shouldn't think. No one should be thinking this hard about this movie. But, there are some parts that don't quite line up.
Like how the toys come off the pole.
Yeah. that was never really, like, explained either. Like, they have, like, some screws in their
Some
belly.
of them do, but they didn't all. It didn't look
Yeah,
like
sure.
Skip had a screw hole.
Mm-hmm.
Skip was
Skip
messing
had the
that.
screw
Yeah,
hole.
Skip was messing that screw hole.
Skipping the screw hole.
Skipping the
Pretty
screw
good.
hole.
I did like Skip.
Yeah,
Yes,
he was a likable guy.
Yeah.
Rico, too.
Yeah, but most of the other players I thought were like, they're a bit much. There was that one scene in the dump where they were like sort of arguing for like a good 2 minutes, and I was just, can we keep this plot going a little bit?
There was one joke that I felt needed to be fleshed out a little bit more, like when they're all, one of them is dressed as Bo Peep and the other one is dressed as the sheep, and they're making fun of the one guy dressed as Bo Peep, and then one of them is all, hey, maybe next time I'll be Bo Peep, and then there's just like silence, and it's like, there's supposed to be a joke here, but no one could really think of one.
Mm-hmm. We'll put a pin in this one, and we'll come back to when we do the rewrites.
Yeah.
And they just never did.
And
We forgot.
Yeah, we forgot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, going back to something you were saying earlier, is that the movie is sort of sold on this idea of, oh, there are these toys, and now they're coming to life, and they're helping the hero. By the end of the movie, what's sort of interesting is that the foosball players, the toys that come to life, really don't have a lot to do with the plot at all. They don't really accomplish much. They kind of do 3 things. Mm-hmm. They set up the carnival thing where we're going around, we're trying to like get like the players. Then they break into, the thing that they accomplish the most is they destroy his evil science lab.
Mm-hmm. That was really not a danger to anyone.
No. Well, I mean, like, what would have happened if those...
The animals?
Pigeon
Mascots?
banners got out? Presumably they all escaped at the end, too, so, yeah. But anyway, and Ace having his mansion explode doesn't really seem to faze him, and that leads us into the third act of this movie, which predictably is a soccer game between Ace and his team of nameless pro athletes.
Yeah, the Monstars.
The Monstars had more personality than these guys did. I don't think any of them had a line. And the ragtag group that Jake and Laura get together, which is all the characters we saw in the intro of the movie. The big hulking cafe owner.
The 2 old men who are like playing checkers or whatever.
Yeah. Someone's Nana.
The emo kid.
Who is just referred to as that emo kid.
The town pickpocket. The police officer who always goes after him.
Did we say the man in the cave?
No, there's a man in the cave. Here. This is what's crazy, is there's, right at the tail end of this movie, they introduced a character we haven't seen before named Stinky, who is a vagrant who lives in a cave on the outskirts of town, and he's convinced to play the game because Jake says, if we lose, everyone's going to move in here with you. And then, we see him playing in the thing. I didn't realize until the end credits he's voiced by Chaz Palminteri for 2 lines. So, I guess the same day Chaz Palminteri was picking up his paycheck, Katie Holmes also happened to be there doing whatever, and they said, hey, what are you doing here? What are you doing here?
Yeah, are you in this too?
Yeah. That's how they planned the show. They're like, we're just going to show up at the studio and see who walks by.
Yeah. I just like the idea that, like, there's just a poster on, like a telephone pole, and all these, like, actors in Hollywood are just, and then they, like, take a slip off it and just show up at the recording studio.
Yeah, so someone's Nana gets conscripted into being part of this team, and first half of it, I think she's wearing bindings because she's trying to pass off as a man, because I don't think there were any women on...
I guess it was boys, so emo kid must be a boy.
Yeah, or just a they. Yeah. But then halfway through, something happens and she immediately takes the binding off and her, let's say, voluptuous bosoms spill out for everyone to see. And when she's pretending to be a man on the team, they just name her Bob. And I wrote down the same thing, the same observation you said. That's gotta be
a Fight Club reference.
It has to be a Fight Club reference because the character looks almost exactly like Meatloaf from that movie.
Fight Club.
So that's a
weird thing to put into this family-friendly soccer movie.
Yeah, and that has to be the English dub. Like, I'm fairly certain they did not call her Bob in the Argentinian version.
No.
Someone was editing that and was all like, I'm gonna make that's gonna be really sly. The soccer game has some of my favorite moments of the entire movie, and some of
balloon.
Oh my god, we gotta talk about the blimp. That is the funniest part of this entire movie.
I gotta say,
someone straight up dies.
Yeah. Maybe a few people.
Probably multiple people, yeah.
Yeah.
And though.
Oh my god! All right,
It's such a great
who
scene.
wants to talk about it?
Let's break it down.
Okay, so the ball goes to the hulking guy who runs the cafe. He kicks it skyward, and it goes towards a blimp, like sort of just like the Goodyear blimp that goes over every stadium event.
And they're casting about it as it's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
It's coming straight towards us.
Yeah. What do you see up there, Mitch? And it is like.
And Moose launches one. Let's go to Jerry and the blimp. Jer, how does it look to you?
It's heading right for us. The blimp is made of very fragile material.
Jerry is on fire!
I'm okay.
And it explodes in a giant
Very
fireball.
graphic explosion.
No one made it out of there alive.
And the emo kid who has a scowl for the majority of the movie has this slow, creeping smile watching the blimp blow up.
It's probably the longest take, longest stationary take of anything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Their reaction shot.
You wouldn't be seeing that in a Pixar or a DreamWorks movie.
Ah.
North American kids are so coddled. The UK kids, the Argentinian kids, they can handle that kind of
It
violence.
is a terrifically dark little joke thrown in this movie, and God is it funny. All the announcer stuff is great. I think one of the announcers was Jay Farrow.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
three
That's three SNL
three
alums.
SNL guys in there. Yeah, and then it's just a very sort of standard, I guess, slobs versus snobs sort of, you know, here's the tough team, here's the team of misfits. And what ends up happening, they start losing.
Yeah, predictably.
Badly, because of course they would in this situation.
It's a bunch of old men versus fit athletes, the best team in the world.
There's one actual fit guy on the team, and then
he's the cop, and he's the guy who keeps having to go after the pickpocket who's trying to leave the game.
That's another funny moment.
The
too,
cafe owner seems like an asset, though.
Definitely.
He's got the strength of an ox.
When he's not murdering multiple people,
Right.
his strength.
He's freakishly strong and talks in all these animal noises.
Yeah, that guy never had a voice. Yeah, he just talks in bleats and growls and stuff, and he was Jake's boss too. So at some point in time, he must have hired him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just all hey, I can be your busboy.
Oh yeah, when the cafe's getting destroyed at the start of the movie, he stops the wrecking ball just getting in the way.
With his stomach.
Yeah, with his stomach, and it's okay, that's just.
So they're not completely underdogs. They have a couple of ringers, on the team,
superhuman mutants. And,
yeah. So they start losing, and this is the third and sort of final thing that these magical foosball players do, is that they decide, all right, well, they're going to lose. Let's just straight up cheat.
Mm-hmm.
And they really do. A good chunk of this film's climax is the heroes straight up cheating at sports, and again, this raises the question of what can everyone see? Because I think they're trying to set up the fact that the players are obscured by the grass on the field.
Which is awesome to look at them running through the fields of grass.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's another shot of this beautiful movie.
It's like a Vietnam, tall grass.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're moving the ball around, and they're grabbing people's legs and making them fall over.
But those players are they fluctuate in size because I think on a standard table they ought to be 3 inches tall or something. But the high def cams aren't picking them up.
I feel like you would see them dangling off a shoe.
Yeah, I'm sure the players would notice themselves that hey, who are these little guys running around?
Running along the pole line, 6 of them on the ball at one point.
Climbing up people's backs.
Yeah, but again, it's that thing of no one has any other interactions with these players other than Jake, and it would have been interesting if the movie had just said, no, they're alive now and everyone can see them, and wouldn't it be interesting to see what the reactions of all the other people were, but everyone sort of just acts like they're not there.
I feel like the movie just didn't deal with it.
Yeah.
They just avoided that whole question, which seems weird.
Yeah. Their only purpose is to instill confidence into Jake, which succeeds, but maybe they are just all in his imagination.
No, because his son sees them.
Yes, his son sees them at the end of the movie. Yeah, that's a good
Well, his son sees them at the end of the movie, but he also did listen to an entire story that his dad told him, so there might have been a little bit of
So maybe there's just a gas leak in the garage?
Yeah.
He's just a crazy man.
Or in the intervening years, Jake has set up highly detailed animatronic versions of all of these things.
That's probably what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The whole movie is a fever dream that Jake had. He's just like imagining like this thing actually happened, and now as like an adult, his hair is thinning, and he's all like, I have to recreate like the one thing that was good in my life, and he like recreates like these complex robots of all of the characters.
Yeah, really. As he was like rushing into the cafe to save the foosball table, like a brick landed on his head, and he's like,
he never got out.
This is just a concussion dream of his.
He never got out of the cafe. Oh god,
being in a coma.
But to his credit, he does find the players, like the foosball guys, on the field, and is like, no, if we cheat, we're just as bad as Ace. We got to win the game like our way.
If we cheat, we're just as bad as Ace.
Like, you are worse than Ace, even if you're not cheating.
Yeah, I mean, like, for all of Ace's faults, Ace doesn't cheat.
Dude, he does cheat.
How does he cheat?
He kicks him in
that's right.
the leg. He cheats.
Yeah, that's right.
True,
yeah,
but the ref didn't see it.
Yeah, ref
like,
didn't
even
see it.
That happens in soccer all the time. If the ref doesn't see it, no card.
That is true.
That's
that's
a
true.
legal
There's
move.
That one
then.
moment. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And there's meant to be like this big sort of uplifting moment where the foosball players all like, "We're going to help you." It's all like, "No, we don't want to cheat." And they look over at the rest of the team of the motley characters, and they're all breathing heavily, and they're all like staring into the camera,
all determined and everything. Yeah,
it's a hero moment.
It's a hero moment. What I will say is there are a couple of those character models that I didn't need to be standing aggressively and breathing heavily.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of them I didn't need to see doing specifically that, but other than that, it was a heartwarming moment. So it's a tied game.
Yeah, the dolls managed to tie up the game.
Yep.
And then they just like leave the field, and then what happens? Ace steals the ball
because they let the goalie abandons the net for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't.
To be on the offensive.
The offensive.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
See, I know sports.
Yeah. There was this. Yeah.
The goalie certainly does it, because that seems like a dumb move.
Yes, we're all Sprats fans here. That was a moment where I was like trying to like describe what was going on, and as the words were leaving my mouth, my brain was all like, I don't know how to play soccer. I don't know what they're doing.
But that seems wrong.
We're all incredulous. It's just a thing that happened.
It seems like that's a bad move to do, though. The goalie leaving the net.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I understand it in hockey terms.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get like
empty net and you get an extra player.
You get an extra player, but that extra player isn't usually the goalie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But
I go to hockey games purely for mini donuts, so I'm walking the loop and not watching the sports.
Did you know you can get mini donuts outside of hockey games?
Probably a lot cheaper.
Yeah, but like, what?
Right.
Go to support the team.
Yeah, Paul's going to sit with that one for a while.
But yeah, so Ace steals the ball, and Jake chases him down the field, like tries to do like a sliding stop to him, but doesn't matter. Ace gets the winning goal, and the game ends. But there's no cheers. There's nobody cheers.
No one cheers for Ace. Okay.
It's the Rocky ending.
There's
it's the Rocky
thousands of people in that stadium.
His mom's probably there.
Good.
Yeah. He's probably got fans. He's the best athlete in the world.
Over half of them would cheer for him realistically in that situation. We get the ending, the moral that they're trying to lay out for us. But
I'm a huge Vancouver Canucks fan, but nothing fills out the stadium more than Sidney Crosby or Connor McDavid, these superstar players coming to those games. People are going to show up because here's the best athlete in the sport showing up to our home arena. So,
and I guess the implication is that no one's cheering for him because everyone in the studio saw him kick Jake's leg at that one point.
Everyone but the ref.
I thought they all lived in the village, and I was like, when did the population grow?
Those must have been... Okay, this is something we need to talk about because you pointed this out when we were watching the movie. So, Jake and Laura challenge Ace to the soccer game, and whoever wins gets the town. But over the course of them recruiting players for their team,
like the montage,
Ace goes ahead and builds the stadium anyway over the town.
Around the town.
There's
peaks coming out of the
There's an old woman just doing her laundry or something in the stadium.
I know,
it's cute.
So if Jake and his team were to win the game,
They've already lost.
They would have had to have inherited this stadium that's already built.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take it down. Ace probably isn't going to pump any more money into it, so like that financing is gone. So really, if they had won the game, they would have
like, oh shit, now we got to tear this thing down.
Yes, it would have become a ghost town anyway, and it would have. And also, like, here's my question: is what team does Ace play for? Because it kind of seems like he's just good at soccer, but he has like a team that comes with him. So like, they're building a stadium. Okay, is Ace moving his team to the town, or are they going to build like a new team around where the stadium is? It's like I understand that he's building the stadium for petty reasons, but realistically, it does seem like he's building the stadium for this one game and no other purpose.
It also seems like he doesn't need the other teammates around him.
Yes.
There's a scene where they score a goal and like the team goes over to like high five and whatever, and he's pushing them away and like just screaming to the sky because it was his goal and he doesn't need your help.
Yeah, it would have been more interesting if the final match was Ace versus all of them on his own, and then he could just show how awesome he was.
His own teammates turn on him kind of thing,
You also mentioned something earlier that was a good point that I hadn't thought of, or it might have been you. I can't remember. I'll say what it is, and then someone can claim it.
Whichever one of us wants to take credit for it. When
they're in the science lab and everything breaks, and then like the poison gas starts seeping out, someone was all like, "Oh, he's going to turn into like a football monster." That was you.
Me,
That would have made more sense too. There's multiple endings I can see with this movie. That wasn't the one that they ended up going with.
Tell me why.
Okay.
We've already discussed it. We don't know why.
Sure.
Why did they take off their shirts at the end of the game?
I don't know if is that a soccer thing?
I sent out a lifeline. I texted. I wonder if I got a response because I want to know.
Yeah. So what happens is Jake's team loses. But, it's the rock ending. It's not a fact that they win, it's the fact that they tried. So the other team comes up to him and says, like, hey, good game, shakes hands, and then one guy just takes his jersey off and gives it to him. Like a Mean Joe Green, like, hey, kid. Yeah. Like, is that a thing?
That was what I thought, too, yeah. Mean
I
Joe
don't think
Green.
it's a thing. My response that I got is, where's the losing team from? Maybe it's an Argentinian thing. I don't know.
Yeah. It seemed like maybe it was that one character doing it, but then one of the foosball players says, I would take my shirt off, but it's painted on me. So I was all like, that does seem like...
Oh my god, the character is trying to genuflect, but not knowing what genuflecting was.
Oh, like...
so good.
Yeah. What are you doing? I don't know, but it's fun.
And their arms are just flailing everywhere.
That was great, sorry.
Yeah, so
that's cute.
That's good. And now I can announce that I now know that this is called genuflecting.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that was called either. I could have been quiet about it and just like, oh yeah, totally, I knew what that is.
I was not much of it for church going as a kid, but like, that should have a name, and now I know.
I just refer to it as spectacles, testicles, wallet, and watch.
Yeah, me too.
Right, yeah.
Thank you, Austin Powers.
Yes. Ace wins, but he ultimately loses, and he ends up getting the town, but the town just moves to a different town, and they have a new town founder statue, which is everyone in the soccer team. I don't know who that sculptor is, but just tremendous detail.
Also, we don't hear anything about Laura's art career. And is Mom Laura? We don't know. We're just assuming.
That's true, because that's the weird thing. They brought Katie Holmes in to do like these 3 lines, but the character doesn't even get ahead. I'm pretty sure the mom is Laura.
I don't know why.
Oh, that's true. Maybe she moved away to art college and she found herself, and now she's just got like this. Man, my hometown is crazy. They built this guy came, the most famous guy in the world.
Let me tell you about my ex.
Yeah. Yeah, he lost a soccer game and the town got destroyed, and
he still plays with toys.
Yeah, and he's like, well, sorry about that. I'm still gonna go to art school because that was always my plan, and yeah.
Here's my question. What year do you think this wraparound story is taking place in? Because near the end, Laura designs the team's jerseys, and Jake holds up a sign that says #Laura Designs. Mm-hmm. So for hashtags to be a thing, that would have to take place now. So this wraparound thing must happen 15, 20 years in the future or something?
It'll have to be because
at least 15.
Yeah. Well, it's got to take place sometime into the future because a lot of Ace's technology that he's accumulated with his wealth is very futuristic looking. Like he's got a hovercraft helicopter and like an expanding like dome mansion.
You just reminded me of my other favorite joke when Jake's trying to rescue Laura from Ace, and he gets into like another helicopter. He's like, "No, I lost her again. Why?" And then like the helicopter just goes like 2 feet.
Yeah, it just like lands
over to
across the
thing.
yard.
And Ace says, "I have to increase my carbon footprint
because he's evil."
Some solid jokes in this movie. Really,
it was
really.
And also educating children that carbon footprints are bad.
Mm-hmm.
Because the bad guy does it. All right, is there anything else you guys maybe wrote down that you wanted to talk about this movie?
I wrote Rico riding the rat.
Yes.
Which seems insane, but it's important to the movie.
Yeah, there's an early scene, and that never really came back either. That was something that was introduced and then sort of thrown away.
He got mad at him. Skip got mad at the rat.
Gordita. Gordita, yeah.
Isn't that a cheese?
Gordita, it's a...
Gouda's a cheese. That's
Sounds
what I'm thinking.
like chubby.
Oh no, Gordita is... I'm not going to go so far as to say it's a Mexican dish, because there's a part of me that thinks that it may have been invented by Taco Bell. But it's like, I think it's like a more confined... I'd like to think, based on no knowledge, that a Gordita is the quesadilla equivalent of a calzone.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Oh, okay. I could eat one of those now.
Yeah, no, it sounds
hungry.
delicious.
I made 4 notes.
Okay.
The Weinstein Company.
Just stay
Pretty.
away. Stay away. It is pretty.
Soccer causes evolution. That's what we learned
true.
at the start.
That's true.
And Rico riding the rat. That's what I took from this. That's it.
If nothing else from today, you can take that.
I love writing down notes for watching these movies, because now I have a book that is literally, if someone found this, if I like left this on a bench, it would be the scribblings of a madman, because none of this makes any sense here.
Yeah.
What did you have anything?
Pretty much everything that we talked about. Actually, like as we were recapping the plot, I remembered a joke, but then I forgot it because I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Nuts.
All right.
It was going to be really funny.
It was going to be. Oh, it would have been the joke of the day.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if he remembers it in the next 10 minutes or so, we'll splice it in here.
Good one, Jameson.
We have fun.
I'm so glad I met you. You're
so
hilarious.
fucking funny.
Well, so I'm really looking forward to you not remembering what that joke is.
Yeah,
and
really.
Just that. Yeah, I think we all know the answer to this question. Do you both recommend this movie?
Yeah. I would recommend like animators look at this, watch this movie because it's gorgeous to look at. Yeah, there's got some funny lines in there. I would probably wouldn't want to rewatch it unless I was in the presence, like if I was babysitting a nephew or something. Yeah.
I guess the better question is, would you recommend this movie to people with kids?
Yeah.
Like, is this like a good movie? Like, is it a movie you'd recommend as something that's like a really good animated movie, or is it just a good way to pass the time? A good way to put kids in front of something to kind of quiet them down for a little bit.
I think it's a good one to watch with kids. There's a lot for the grown-ups in this one, I think.
Yeah.
It's amusing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like if you're asking, like, is it of a quality of Up or Finding Nemo? I don't think so, but it's not the worst animated movie I've seen.
Yes.
That would be Flight of Dragons that we watched last
That's
time.
the worst animated
No,
movie
that was
you've
actually
seen?
that was
a great movie.
That was great. I just wasn't high enough for
Man,
it.
don't give me an opening like that. If you want to see the worst animated movie ever, just hold on. That'll be a future episode. I feel like you've dug yourself your own grave here.
Oh yeah, and I said it in jest.
You sure did. You should learn to stop saying things in jest.
All right.
Paula, thank you so much for being a guest
thanks for
on the
being here.
show.
Thanks for inviting me. I got to watch a great film. I'm super excited to, I don't know, cosplay something from it. Maybe I go as Rico to Comic-Con.
I would love it if you went to one of your upcoming conventions and then there are people cosplaying as you, and then you cosplay as Rico
from Underdog, you guys.
Don't you get it? And then it's just you wandering around the convention hall, just kind of like, and then like you look up and like someone is like cosplaying as like Skip, and you're like, yeah, buddy.
Someone would get it.
And you meet your new best friend.
Yeah.
You know those what was it? It was like some variety show guy who was like a dancer, but he had like, sticks on his arms and legs, and he had like 4 dummies.
Yeah, those things.
Those things, yeah. I want to see someone as like a foosball team.
That's
a great
such
costume.
a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a great Halloween costume.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can go specific, and then,
You can get Rico, you can get Skip.
and then people will just say like, "Oh, great, you're going as like a foosball table," and you're just all like,
Not just any foosball
no,
table.
I'm the characters from the Argentinian classic film Underdogs.
Idiots.
What's it called in Argentinian again?
Metabol.
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 I think that's more memorable, probably.
That's a better
Especially
metal
when
bowl.
you say it. Metabol.
Metabol. Yeah. Do you have any plugs? Anything like upcoming?
What should I plug? Season 3, we'll probably announce that soon.
Dope.
Ooh.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You announced it? Okay, great.
By the
All
time
right.
this episode is, it may have been announced, but like you...
There's a 3rd season.
Okay.
We know that.
Probably by the time this comes out, yeah, it'll be announced or whatnot. But yeah, definitely, if you have a Netflix account, and everybody does watch The Dragon Prince, I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And yeah, Jameson, you got any plugs? Anything you recommend?
Like anything that I'm working on?
Yeah.
Well, you know this.
Yeah. Tell me about
my
it.
friend Kevin and I are collaborating on another animated series. First time that I've collaborated with anybody since our mutual friend Harrison and I worked on that Ecstatic Kilroy episode.
Mm-hmm.
You graciously lent your talents and your time to voice a character in that.
Like what?
As a hunter, as a nameless hunter who's...
Nameless Hunter. I went in and I recorded this stuff as like, I think it was Hunter number 2.
Yeah.
And you hadn't come up with a name for the character yet, and as I'm getting in the booth, I'm like, no, please make his name Hunter number 2 and have the other characters refer to him as Hunter number 2.
I was so embarrassed with that. Like, it was a simple... I begged Kevin, like, hey, just do like a find and replace and just like call him anything. He's like, you got it. And of course we didn't do
Good,
it.
I'm glad. I would have been mad if you had done that.
But yeah, it's coming along. Just saw some background art for it. I recorded all my lines for my character. So that will probably be like taking up a bulk of my time in the fall and should be out sometime in 2020. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm sure when that finally launches through whatever, at that point in time, whatever medium you're listening to this podcast through, we will include some way for you to watch that.
Some kind of tie-in.
That'll be out there. I don't have anything going on. Yeah, we'll just wrap this episode up. Paula, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks for listening to the episode, and we will catch you all next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.